I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die historic on the Fury Road.
Welcome to the Mad Max Minute. Turn the car around. Love to see explosions in Mad Max Fury Road, 1 minute at a time. I'm Rick.
And I'm Julia.
And today we're talking about minute 25, which begins with Nux getting fast and furious on us, and it ends with everyone looking at a wall of sand. Blowing in from the Valley of the Wind to join us for this week are Richard Dunham and Chieko Dunham from the Studio Ghibli Minute.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Good to have you back.
Yay.
This is a more open air scenario than when you were joining us for Thunderdome.
Yes.
Far fewer pigs.
Yes. Yes. No periscopes this time.
No, we missed the periscopes.
No, we did.
We missed all the lenses. There's goggles, I think. Somewhere in here, yeah. But no periscopes.
No.
So what have you two been up to since we last connected with you?
We finished Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, we guys talked. You guys came on our show for Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. That was great.
Yeah.
And then we were in the middle of the Castle in the Sky when we were.
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's done.
Now we're doing 2 movies at once.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh. Yeah. Because they were released at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, the next movies after Castle in the Sky released by Studio Ghibli were Grave of the Fireflies and My Neighbor Totoro. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly what you mean by 2 movies at once, but do you want to explain it for the people listening?
Yeah, they were released as a double feature. So when they initially hit theaters, they both hit the theaters on the same day. I believe Grave of the Fireflies was the earlier show.
Probably.
It was like a morning and then early afternoon and then like I think another screening like late afternoon and evening. But for theaters that were running both that bill, Grave of the Fireflies was first. I don't know the specifics of if you had to buy tickets to both of them or what, or if you could just I don't just go see one. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but
yeah,
I mean, we knew that Grave of the Fireflies was next, and we were like, wow, that's gonna be
rough.
It's gonna be rough because I don't know if you or your listeners are familiar with that movie, but it's a very sad movie about 2 kids who basically starved to death at the end of World War II.
In Japan, yeah.
It's the kind of movie that if you watched it in a morning matinee, the rest of your day is going to be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No bueno.
It was I had watched it once and I was like, I'm never watching that again. And then it came up on this project. I'm like, oh, how is this going to work? So then we found out that it was released as a double bill. So we're like, okay, My Neighbor Totoro is lighthearted, fun, cute. That's a very good, palate cleanser.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do is we're doing alternate weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll do 5 minutes, one full week, 5 days worth of Grave of the Fireflies, and then we'll switch and do the same, whatever, like minutes 11 through 15, for example, on My Neighbor Totoro. So we're about half an hour through each movie right now.
All right.
And how do their lengths compare? Are they about the same length?
Yeah.
They are about the same length, and they're both, I think, just shy of 90 minutes. They're both like 85, 86 minutes. So they're not long. So it's working out.
That might be the best way to balance it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so far we're getting through them.
Yeah. We have to get through sad week and then we could go to cute week.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing you're switching every other week because multiple weeks of just wallowing in that much misery with Grave of the Fireflies, you'd probably just never want to podcast again.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right.
And I'm not entirely sure if our listeners would want to come back for that every week or every day even.
Right.
Yeah, it does seem like a bit of a tall order.
Yeah.
Something else that seems like a bit of a tall order is the maneuver that Nux is about to pull here at the top of minute 25. He has just avoided being run over by a giant excavator machine piloted by these hostile buzzards that we've been dealing with. And now he finds himself way the heck out in front of everybody. And with his rear lancers perched all crunched up and Slit sitting on top of the car, Nux gets a pretty interesting idea. He's going to shift the car into reverse, pull on the e-brake, and spin 180 degrees to face the wrong way.
Yeah, I had trouble following like all the levers that he was doing, maybe because I don't drive stick. But what is the e-brake that you speak of?
I'm pretty sure that the stick that has the thing that looks like a tiger's eye on the top of it, that's his regular shifter. And then the handle down by the base of his seat, I'm pretty sure that's the emergency brake.
Yeah, it looks like, almost looks like there's like, he has like a tom-tom drum. Something like that, like, you know, the shifter has the, like you said, the tiger eye, and then like at the top, at the tip of it. And this thing has like a leather cover or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see that. It's so quick and hard to see, but you're right. It does look like the top of a drum.
So that's like a parking brake, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing as automatic cars have.
Okay.
Because manual cars don't have a parking gear. When you park, you're just in neutral.
Oh, okay.
So you have to put the e-brake on to lock it up so it doesn't just roll away.
Okay.
Which you think wouldn't be a big problem out in the middle of the wasteland desert, because how many hills are there going to be?
Right.
But
Right.
You don't need to worry about which way you turn your wheels, your front wheels.
When you park up or down a curve.
say the last thing you want to do is roll out the side of the Citadel. It's just gonna make a huge mess.
We do get another opportunity to get a look at his levers as he's starting to go backwards.
Oh, yeah, we do.
He takes his hand off of the lever, and I'm trying to get a good... I mean, it's not fantastic. It's a little bit better than our first opportunity, but it's still not fantastic. And it does look covered in a bit of leather, like the top of a drum.
Oh, you know what it looks like? It looks like he has like teeth.
I don't really want to know the source of the leather.
Yeah, no.
I don't trust anything organic that I see at all.
It's like he has, now that it's like a metal
Top.
yeah, and then like a set of dentures.
Yeah. Looks like, like the alien baby.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like that.
A little bit like that.
But
like
with bigger
dentures
teeth.
sitting in a spoon.
Yeah.
My question is, was this maneuver really necessary? Was it really the most strategic thing he could have done?
What is it? As Rick mentioned, is the Lancer's perch was crumpled up. So is this the only way that Slit could get a good kind of purchase or kind of stable platform to throw from? Or
I don't think so. I think he could have gotten a stable purchase back on his platform. It might not have been as stable a purchase as it was when it was still all nice and neat and put together, but it would have been better for Slit to climb back on his platform that's now a little bit mangled than for Nux to turn the car around and drive in reverse.
I think it's just a good opportunity for Nux to show off that he's like the Ginger Rogers of driving.
Yes.
Obviously.
To make a indirect Ann Richards quote. Plus, as we learned back when we were in the blood bank before Max was tied to the front of this vehicle, he's technically standing on the Lancer's perch. There's two, one on each side of the vehicle, and so Nux has more Thundersticks held up here at the front. And if he's going to have a hard time pulling Thundersticks from the rear platform because it's all crunchy and jagged from getting rammed, I mean, he's already on the roof anyway. He might as well keep climbing over to the hood.
It's true. I can't help but think about Occam's razor. Like, the simplest explanation is usually the right one. The simplest solution to this problem is the one that should have happened. This is not the simplest solution. This is more complicated, I think, than it needs to be.
Oh, but it's so cool, though.
It is. It really is.
I'm thinking now that maybe Nux wants to get in position and that his best view to do that is looking out through the front windshield.
Yeah, if he wants to avoid the buzzards doing one of those sneaky accelerate, ram you in the back of your bumper type of maneuvers, if he's looking square at the thing,
Oh, yeah.
he'll better see when they're coming at him.
And it will be, he'll be better able to put Slit into a good position to throw the thunderstick.
Plus, Slit is practically a spider monkey climbing all over that car. So anywhere he finds himself, he's going to be effective.
Yeah.
But you would think that, they do this enough that he would have better mirrors, to get in position. I'm kind of with Julie on this one.
It's a bit much.
It's cool for the movie, that's for sure.
The shot. It's all about the shot you get.
It is. It's really all about setting us up so that we get the fantastic shot of Slit raising his hand in victory and glory right behind Max that we get by the end of this minute.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
Everything else that was accomplished between the turnaround and destroying the excavator, I think could have been accomplished with Nux driving forward, except that fantastic shot.
Yeah.
I mean, we are going to see how important it is that Nux's car is turned around, though. You will admit that this specific arrangement in the crazy stuff that's about to happen just wouldn't happen the same way if he
would
wasn't
not
turned
have
around.
happened the same way.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I will argue, though, that the way it goes down is an accident. And if somebody had just thought to do that on purpose, would have been good. Would have been done.
Are we talking about stuff that happens in this minute or the next?
Yes.
Yeah. It's later on in this minute.
coming.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
we
yeah.
get to it, let's pop over to the war rig real quick, because the excavator is harassing the war boys up on the tanker using the bucket arm, as I'm calling it, and it swings around and it swats one of the war boys and sends him flying. And I couldn't help but notice that the arm doesn't seem to be moving particularly fast, and it should be something that's easily dodged.
Yeah.
But I will concede that if you get smacked by a backhoe, it's probably going to throw you.
Yeah. I think that guy that gets hit, it seems like he's concentrating on something else. So maybe he just assumed that the bucket arm was going to pull that cab off, which it eventually does. And so he was like concentrating on, he didn't expect it to move towards him any further. He was concentrating on aiming his thunderstick.
I think so. Does remind me of the steamroller in Austin Powers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if the war boy was that aware of it. I think he was just all off in his little world. He's got his swirling computations around his head trying to think of, where's the best place for me to throw this next thunderstick I'm going to grab, and try to think about my angles, and then suddenly out of left field, smack, and then he flies right off.
Yeah, because I mean, it's hard to aim. Like you've got all those spikes in there on the buzzards' vehicles. I don't know how they decide where to aim.
It's a leap of faith.
You just really got to give it to the Citadel's track and field program, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is very impressive.
Speaking of all this throwing, Ace is our smart one here among the war boys, and he starts calling out that they need to start throwing things at the hydraulics. These are giant hydraulic arms. They're mostly steel plates, but they do have a couple of weak points, mainly the hydraulic connectors and the pistons themselves. And they're wasting all of this time throwing their thundersticks at the main control pod, I guess, the cabin or...
Yeah, the cab, yeah.
Whatever you call it, of a backhoe. Richard, I think you hit the nail on the head there. When they should just be attacking the joints. Any mechanical thing you go up against, always attack the joints.
Yeah.
It's like the first rule of giant robot fighting.
Oh, that's what I want to see now. I want to see like hydraulic fluid, like these, whatever, the pipes or the tubing that, carries hydraulic fluid. I want that to be like a plot point in the next Pacific Rim. I don't think they're going to make one, but I would like to see that.
Yeah.
So back on the Nux car, we've got Slit. He's perched up there by Max, and he throws one of his thundersticks at the front of the excavator. And it's a pretty solid hit. Like, he's hitting center of mass right down by the base of the arm. We get a lot of flame, a lot of sparks, but not too much happening. And on the one hand, Slit's a really good thrower. I feel like he should be able to hit his target. But then I also think this is essentially a boss. Like, we're in a boss level right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up Act 1 with this action scene. Technically, this action scene is like part 1 of 2. Like, you got to beat the mini boss, and then the final boss is the Toxic Storm. But that's another week all entirely. So this thing's going to have a lot of hit points. And Slit's hitting the weak spot, but he's got to wear it down before he can take it out.
Yeah, this is like Zelda.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I would have loved it if he had to hit the excavator 3 times to kill it properly. Although, before they turned around to drive backwards, he did hit it 1 more time, so it does take 3 hits.
And
You
if
beat
there
it.
was like a reset, it was like, oh, you got to daze it first, and then like if you don't hit it in 3 times in a certain period, then it recovers its equilibrium and its guard is back up.
It starts flashing red, and that's when you know it's time for the killing blow.
That's right.
Where it just starts like wavering around, like very weakly, just like tumbling everywhere, and all of a sudden it's back in shape.
So while Slit is attacking the excavator, it's still using its buzzsaw arm to chew away at Furiosa's window. I mentioned at the end of last week just how miserable of a situation this must be. And as we look at Furiosa dealing with it, we look down on the floor where we find Angharad, and she's still crouched in that little hole. And it's quick, but as I was clicking through frame by frame, Rosie Huntington Whiteley definitely catches some sparks like square in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that's rough.
I mean, not the face, that's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
You don't think that was added digitally, do you?
Probably yes.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't want to actually take your supermodel actress, because that's
Or
what
any
she does.
human being.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you.
Julia, for correcting me. You don't want to take your actors
Yeah, the talent.
and throw actual sparks at them.
So either it was a stunt double or added digitally.
Well, I mean, stunt
Yeah.
doubles can take it. They're tough people.
Yeah, but
I imagine that sparks are relatively easy to add digitally.
Yeah, and why would you? I mean, this is a quick shot that you could just.
yeah, this is what, 3 seconds?
You don't really need a big shower of sparks happening in real life for that shot.
Yeah.
The shot specifically of Angharad in the hole in the ground, it's literally less than a second.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that she slipped back into the hole and closed the door pretty quick and
Yeah.
pretty smoothly.
She noped out of there right quick.
Yeah, she was like, okay, I
Yeah.
I don't think I should be here.
gotta go.
I would interpret this action as a smart move, which lies in direct contrast to what we're about to see with this war boy who leaps up onto the arm of the excavator there. I would classify that as not a smart move.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't really understand what he's thinking.
I think that every war boy is looking for that glorious moment that they can really shine.
Oh, yeah.
Ace already advised everyone to go for the hydraulics. So this war boy saw an opportunity to go for some really obvious hydraulic points.
But he's not, I mean, there's like a bunch of hoses. There's like 3 or 4 hoses right there that he could just start tugging on. But instead of that, he's like handed something by somebody else.
Yeah, he's basically handed the explosive charge from the end of a thunder stick, and he picks it up over his head and he tosses it down at the base of the arm, which is a good place to aim, I'm sure. But if he had some sort of like hook or saw or any sort of cutting implement, he could start hacking away at those hydraulic tubes.
Yeah, at first
some
I
real
thought
damage.
he had a rock and was banging on
Yeah.
the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
It took a couple of views to realize that he threw a charge down further and that charge actually did connect, broke the arm. That's why the saw went swinging.
You know, I
So you know what? He did
Hold
destroy
on.
the
yeah,
excavator.
he did.
Which arm are we talking about? We talking about the
This-
top arm or the front arm?
Oh no, that's right. There's 2 arms. Never mind.
Yeah, I just realized that he was facing the other way. I thought he had climbed up onto the bucket arm
Yeah, because he does climb up on the bucket arm, and we do see that charge connect. Like, we have to cut back to Slit before we can see the explosion, but when he throws that charge, yeah, it goes right down to the base of that bucket arm, and the explosion is sizable.
Yeah.
I thought he was facing towards the bucket initially. I just realized that he's facing towards
the elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
towards
Rick,
the
you were
car.
criticizing this war boy, wondering what the heck he was doing, but he succeeded. He broke the bucket arm.
I just don't find it a smart idea to jump on top of the thing that you're trying to make explode.
Yeah.
Well, war boys have a different sense of making it home alive priority.
Their definition of home.
Not a priority.
Yeah.
He is ready and willing and eager to give his life to break this arm. He would prefer it if he could give his life to break this arm.
So wait, he's on the bucket arm, is that right? And then, but
Yes.
aiming towards the base of the buzzsaw arm, is that right?
Nope. So bucket arm guy is throwing his charge at the base of the bucket arm because the buzzsaw arm is mounted on the front of the excavator. The shot after we see that guy throw his charge, we cut down to the front of the excavator where Slit throws his third thunderstick at the base of the buzzsaw arm.
And we no longer see that guy on the bucket arm, right?
We do. He gets thrown.
Yeah,
like in
he
the
flies
background.
off, I guess.
Yeah, he's dead.
Oh,
Most
okay,
likely.
yeah, there he is.
He
Okay.
actually gets thrown clear of the
Yeah.
wreckage, but he hits the ground really hard.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he lands in soft sand.
No.
Yeah, he hits it pretty hard.
Okay, so I'm starting to follow this now. Yeah, so when we cut to Slit, the explosion that we see is the what he just threw, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it doesn't do anything.
Well, okay, so the saw arm swings away from Furiosa's door towards Slit. Is that because the person who's controlling it wants to get rid of Slit, or did it lose control because of Slit's explosion?
It lost control because of the explosion. We have the explosion, and then there's a tube that starts whipping around,
Yeah.
spraying
Yeah.
out hydraulic fluid. So whatever connection that was, which was probably the left-right control. So now that there's no longer fluid pushing that arm to the right, it's going to get kicked off by the spinning blades and swing around to the left,
Yeah.
which is bad news for Max.
Yes.
But that's all due to Slit's thunderstick.
Mm-hmm.
I think
The
so.
bucket arm guy, his explosion again didn't do.
Much.
I think it
Diddly
broke the
squat.
bucket arm,
Yeah.
but that was it.
Did it though?
Well, let's see. I'm not 100% confident on whether or not it did.
Yeah, I think it's tough
Oh.
to say how efficacious that attack was just because we go so quickly from
It is really
buzzsaw
quick.
arm is broken
Yeah.
to everything is exploding.
I'm looking at as the bucket cab plus arm swings away, like after the excavator itself disintegrates. There may be some fires in the joints, but I don't know that that's because of this guy's bucket arm guy's explosion.
Yeah,
Or his bomb.
I'm not sure I see any direct evidence that bucket arm guys' efforts did anything, which I find disappointing because I don't really like Slit. So if I could find a reason to share his glory with somebody else, I will. But
Yeah.
there's no evidence. There's no direct evidence of that.
Yeah, the explosion happens because the buzzsaw cuts through some thundersticks on Nux's car, and that rolls under the car and explodes it and causes the bucket arm to swing away just due to...
And it's still connected to the cab at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
See, it's funny that was the secret. They just had to attack the excavator from underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, Ace was smart enough to know, hey, go for the hydraulics. In hindsight, being 2020, of course, it does seem like a very simple solution to attack it from underneath.
You know what's funny? That they don't have any vehicles in the fleet that we see over the course of this movie, or more specifically, the war rig doesn't have any deployable landmines. Just take some
Yeah.
explosive discs or whatever, fill a pie tin with explosives and put a thing of tinfoil in it, and then just toss it off the rig into the path of your enemies. I know that's not how explosives are made, but something like that sounds really useful.
It would be so much easier.
Yeah, I was wondering what triggered the ends of the thundersticks to go off.
I think it was the impact of getting run over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they land on the ground and they're kind of bouncing, and all they need to do to explode is have that little push pin at the front of them, or at the tip, or whatever direction you want to use specifically. But all they got to do is to press that point, and they explode.
Okay.
That's why Slit was able to use one to just poke the buzzards the other day.
And it does look like one is going right under the tire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was there a chance that these two explosives hit the ground and were run over by the excavator in such a way that they weren't actually hit, that nothing would have happened?
That is exactly a possible outcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow, the fact that both of them exploded seems...
Especially lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, miraculous.
Despite the fact that it is so 1 in a million, and the fact that there's no way they could have planned this, Slit is still the one who raises his fist in victory, acting like he was the one that did it totally on purpose.
Totally.
Well, he's the one that rolled like at least an 18.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, if I rolled it like an 18, I would do the same posture. Yeah.
Right.
This entire fight, Slit has been trying to find his moment of glory, and everything he has done has been overshadowed by somebody else's better act. So finally, his act was not overshadowed by somebody else. So he is taking all of the credit, and it's not undeserved. He's not stealing it from somebody else. What actually happened was an accident.
I guess if you want to follow it back like a Rube Goldberg machine, technically Slit did bust the hydraulics on the arm, and that's kind of like cutting the string and letting the ping pong ball roll down the track, and that knocks over the broomstick, and the broomstick hits the iron, and the iron falls on the cat, and the cat runs along the kitchen knocking over the plates, and then yada yada yada, breakfast is served.
Right. Well,
oh my gosh. That's an immaculate process.
Yes, he gets credit. But the thing that actually did it was not of his skillful doing. He didn't throw the charges under the vehicle.
Yeah.
He did the thing that did the thing on accident. Oh, unintended consequence. And wow, lucky I rolled an 18. Explosions everywhere. So he gets credit, but it just wasn't his own skillful idea and shot to actually blow up the excavator.
Yeah. It's not deserved credit. It's just like, you accidentally did a thing. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a mistake, it's a happy accident.
Yeah. As most mistakes are, I think.
Yeah. I'll tell you one crazy thing about this excavator explosion is that it is broken up into so many different shots, and each one of those shots seems to rewind time a little bit and show something that we've technically already seen. Among the 5 or 6 shots in a row of this excavator exploding, we see it lifted up off the ground a couple of times. We see it roll over to the side a few times. We see the war boy fly off the arm and through the air at least 3 times. Mm-hmm. They want to show you so many aspects of this explosion because there is so much happening that they just got to show it over and over and over again so everybody gets the full effect.
Rick, what is that sketch? My memory says it's an SNL sketch, but I can't quite remember specifically, where they're mocking like a soap opera where someone's falling off the stairs and they just keep falling and falling and falling forever until the hero of the story is able to slide on his knees on the marble floor and catch her. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember
And
where
it
it's
takes
from.
like 30, 45 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't think of exactly what you're talking about. When you mention someone falling down on stairs, there was a sketch when Melissa McCarthy was the host.
Oh, yeah.
But that was an entirely different thing. It didn't involve someone sliding across a floor.
But I mean, it's similar. It's just, you need to see every perspective.
Yeah. What it reminds me of is when, I want to say it's in one of the Taken movies, when they want to make it look like Liam Neeson is jumping over a chain link fence, and they have to use like 17 cuts to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Like he's running in the alley, they cut to a close-up of his foot, they show hands on the top of a chain link fence, they show a knee bending, him lifting himself up, wide shot of a body jumping over the top, another shot of him swinging his legs over, just so complicated to hide the fact that Liam Neeson is not a young man anymore. He has a particular set of skills. One of them is not jumping over a chain link fence at however old he is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty good editing. I didn't notice it too much when I first saw it, that we were seeing it multiple times.
I think it's cut together well enough that, yes, when you look at it, you are seeing repeated events, but it's cut in such a way that allows you to really understand exactly everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like in the first wide shot, when the excavator is exploding, you can see, okay, the detail from this shot is that the excavator is being lifted up off the ground. Big explosion up in the air. And then we go to the front of the excavator where it's starting to explode again, and that front buzzsaw arm digs into the ground. So now we have the detail. It's being thrown up in the air. Its forward momentum is being halted. And then as we go, we get to see how the bucket arm is ripping that enclosure off the tanker.
Yep.
And we're getting the whole picture just woven together for us.
Yeah.
Like a tapestry in a castle.
Yeah. And it's quick enough to where your brain doesn't really register that it's the same thing, just in a different view.
But the important thing at the end of the day is that hooray, the buzzards are finally dealt with.
Yay.
Which is going to really change the dynamic of what's going on, because there have been assumptions keeping dynamics in a certain place and relationships in a certain place, and that is going to change now.
Mm-hmm. Because now that the buzzards are gone, as Slit says, now we bring home the booty. And I would half expect
So
him
stupid.
to fire up with an avast me hearties, thar she blows.
There she blows.
Yeah, I couldn't help thinking of the Beastie Boys. Professor, what's another word for pirate treasure? Well, I think it's booty.
Yeah.
So I think we see in minute 27, we get a better view of Slit's stomach. But this, his victory pose, I first started to notice like the designs on his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys talked about that already?
I don't think we really have.
I thought we mentioned his open wounds that seemed to be stapled shut.
Well, we talked about the wounds on his face that were stapled shut, but
Yeah.
we didn't talk about what was on his torso at all.
Ah, yeah, those other gashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever he does to his face or someone else does to his face is happening to the rest of his body.
My initial thoughts were that, those could be the results of operations, but it also maybe could be like a result of like just games that they play.
Yeah.
Oof.
So now that the focus has turned from taking care of the excavator to now chasing down the war rig, Nux does another 180 degrees and we get a disgruntled growl from Max as he's flung around. And now that everybody's facing the same direction, it gives Max and Nux the opportunity to notice the giant wall of sand in front of them.
Yay.
So it's going to take us a little while to get there, but we're slowly drawing close to it.
And this is the first time we see it, right?
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yes.
I think we've been seeing it on the horizon, but I think this is the first time that we really start to take it in. Like,
Yeah.
Max and Nux see it, Furiosa sees it, the people in the war fleet see it. Like, everybody's making a lot of fuss about this sandstorm ahead of them.
A lot of reaction shots.
Yeah.
And that really brings us to the end of the minute. Richard and Chieko, here at the end of Monday, could you share with the nice people where they can hear more of you if they want to check you out your stuff?
We are at ghibliminute.com. You can go there and you can access all of our Ghibli Minute podcasts. We're also on
Podbean.
Yeah, we're on iTunes. We are on Google Play.
Yeah.
The hell else are we on?
We're, if you search for us, we'll most
Stitcher.
likely
I believe we're on Stitcher. Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
So that's JIBBLY.
No, that is GHIBLI minute.com.
There you go.
Spelling is hard.
As for us, be sure to come back on Wednesday. We'll have Rictus sharing his thoughts with the class. Ace is going to realize that something has gone wrong, and Nux is finally going to get his chance to attack the war rig.
The Mad Max Minute podcast is a fan project by Rick and Julia Ingham.
The Mad Max franchise was created by George Miller and Byron Kennedy, is presented by Kennedy Miller Mitchell Productions, and distributed by Warner Brothers.
Mad Max Minute is produced and edited by Rick Ingham. Our opening music is Verdi's Dies Irae by Daniel Bautista of danielbautista.com.
Our home on the internet is madmaxminute.com. You can follow us on Twitter at madmaxminute, like us on Facebook by searching for Mad Max Minute, and join our Facebook listener group, Mad Max Minute Beyond Microphone.
If you'd like to support the podcast, visit madmaxminute.com, where you can see what's in our TeePublic store, join our Patreon, or even donate to the show to help us keep the tanks full.
Thank you for joining us for Minute 25 of Fury Road. We'll see you next time.